What's up, guys? It's Sean here with the Sean Deli Football Channel, and today I have for you a bit more of football around the world. Let's kind of go through it all. It seems like this is going to be the last day of live football for a few, up until Boxing Day. Cannot wait. Always love Boxing Day. Super fun to watch all those games, and I will be with you guys for majority of those immediately after on Sunday. But I thought today what we will do is go through a few of the games that we had today and kind of discuss as far as what we're going to be seeing from all the teams. And, we had some really, really good games. I'm going to first start with the EFL and the absolute blockbuster games we had in the EFL today. I'm going to kind of give my thoughts a little bit on every game that we had, all three. The Tottenham Hotspur, West Ham, it seems like Antonio Conte is brewing something, man. It seems like he's been able to figure something out. West Ham didn't have that much opportunity this game. They had a lot of shots, but not a lot of them were quality, and not a lot of them really challenged, in my opinion, and they were leaving a lot of space in the back. And that's the main problem I'm currently having with this West Ham squad, is the depth is not there. I think David Moyes is doing absolute miracles with this team and bringing them this high and having them compete this well. But I just don't think at the moment their team has enough depth to really compete and challenge on so many fronts. We're going to see, again, Spurs on the other side, a little janky with the goals. But, Conte is getting the job done, and he's doing it pretty well. And I'm honestly kind of impressed, not going to lie. We're going to talk about Chelsea and Brentford real quick. Bit of a cagey match. Chelsea really were huffing and puffing all game, and it took an own goal to actually break the deadlock, and which led to Brentford opening up a bit, led to the chance. Second goal was a penalty, and Chelsea won. My current fear on Chelsea is, and I mentioned this in my Champions League review, I don't know how well Chelsea is going to. Chelsea's defense is phenomenal. They're going to be able to be tough and resolute and not concede goals. That can happen. I actually think Chelsea currently have the best defense across the top of European football. Across the top teams, I think Chelsea has the best defense. I don't think there's much of an argument there. But when they need a goal, I do not trust Chelsea to be able to get a goal when they need it. If they go behind, I don't know where that goal is coming from outside of getting a penalty, honestly. I don't think this is a problem that has to do with Lukaku's absence or appearance. I think it's just the system that Thomas Tuchel plays currently doesn't really. That's been kind of his problem since day one, is creating enough quality chances for his forward players. And I think that's currently the problem that Chelsea are facing, which is why I'm becoming less and less hot on Chelsea as the weeks go on. I could be wrong. They have enough creativity and enough players that with a few tweaks, anything is possible. However, eventually moving into a 4-back system is potentially where Chelsea need to go to be able to streamline that offense and that defense. However, we're going to see what happens. They were able to beat Brentford, and they're in the semifinals, so c'est la vie. Liverpool, Leicester, what a game. What an absolute blockbuster of a game. Liverpool had teenagers in the game. There were barely any first-team players, and it was an absolute joy to watch. Leicester went 2-0 up in the first few minutes of the game. Ox makes it 2-1. Then Vardy gets in the third. Maddison with an absolute screamer of a goal. Vardy hits the post, could have had a hat-trick in that first half. But then Liverpool come back. Credit to Jurgen Klopp. Credit to this Liverpool team. They're an absolute ridiculous machine. at just winning and not giving up. He has so much charisma, Jurgen Klopp. He just reminds me so much of Alex Ferguson in the way he used to coach back in the day. And it's just a shame that it's for Liverpool. But phenomenal game from Liverpool and from Jurgen Klopp's team. Leicester pretty much played their strongest team. This was pretty much their strongest team. As far as fittest team as well. And I just don't think they should have buried the game in that first half. They just kind of didn't offer much in the second half. And they just kind of gave Liverpool the opportunity to get back into the game. And to be fair, it took a 95th minute goal and penalties for Liverpool to win in the end. But I mean, you run down that Liverpool team, you've heard of 4 or 5 of the players tops. Eventually, they brought on Jota and Keita and Milner and Konate. But still, a lot of these players were... Who's heard of Kometio? Who's heard of Connor Bradley? We saw Morton play against Spurs at the weekend, but this is not the Liverpool team that you know. So, Leicester, Brendan Rodgers, you need to figure something out, man, because I don't know what has happened to you this season, but the start of the game, it looked really, really good. 3-3. To be fair, it's a good result against Liverpool, but I think Leicester would be kicking themselves, feeling like they could have done better to this game. And that's kind of my thoughts on that. This sets up for a phenomenal semifinal. Let me actually check when the semifinal draw is. So it's already been decided. We will be having Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, Liverpool in a two-tied competition, which is a big negative, honestly, for them. That's a lot of games coming up. But those are going to be really, really exciting ties, obviously. Chelsea, Spurs, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool. I'm going to go out on this limb and say it's going to be a Chelsea-Liverpool final, and that would be absolute blockbuster, and it would be amazing to watch. However, is there a world where it could be an Arsenal-Spurs, a North London derby final at the EFL Cup? I would love it. I would love it. It would be amazing to see Tottenham win a title. Arsenal's not going to win shit. Joking, Arsenal fans. You guys can totally win the Conference League, I guess. Whatever. I don't know why I throw so much shade at Arsenal. It's kind of funny, though. But that's kind of my thoughts on the EFL. Let's move on to La Liga. And I want to talk about Atletico de Madrid. Again, disappointing. I'll give them a caveat. They possibly should have won. There was no reason for that João Felix goal to be called off. I thought it was perfect. And João Felix played phenomenal. So exciting this game. Scored a goal. Had a second scored, but for some reason the ref didn't like it. It was totally fine. And Granada, what a goal from Granada. It was absolute blockbuster. Atletico Madrid are currently 17 points behind Real Madrid. I think I predicted Atletico to win La Liga at the beginning of the season. I don't think that's happening anymore. The weird part is XG has Barcelona at the top of the table. This is where XG just like blows your mind. And it's like, this is just dumb. But I'm going to make a video about Atletico over the next few weeks about, is it time for Diego Simeone to move on? I think it is. Atleti has so many exciting players. So many players that are so fun to watch and have so much potential with this team. I just don't understand why they're not getting the best out of it, to be fair. Very injury ravaged. They're playing Kondogbia in the back line. They don't have a lot of their main players playing. It could be as simple as that. But 17 points are out behind Real Madrid, 19 games into the season. It's just not good enough. And I think, obviously, the title's done, but we're at a bit of an interesting point in La Liga because the difference between Betis at third with 33 points and Valencia at eighth is 5 points. Those two Champions League spots, any of those teams can have it. If you tell me right now, I'm going to say it's going to be Barcelona and Atleti because I think both of them will come better in the new season in next year. I'm just disappointed in Atleti. Just disappointed. I think you just need to let João Felix play every game, to be completely honest. I just like him. Moving on to the final game and to the most exciting league in the world, we have Italy, where Inter is doing a bad thing and running away with it and making it less of an exciting league. And I'm not happy about that. So I'm going to talk about Milan instead because, yeah, that's how I feel. Napoli lost again. Very poor. Their injury it's getting the squads are paper thin here, man. So I'm not going to go too harshly on any team. But credit to Inter for being able to smooth and just stay consistent and play well. But I will be doing kind of a Serie A roundup over this week as well. But AC Milan, Empoli, 4-2 Milan. Some very, very good goals. Kessie with a brace popping up. Alessandro Florenzi also with a free kick. Don't know what the wall was doing. One of the worst walls I've ever seen in my life. And Teo Hernandez, one of the best players, one of the best left backs in the world right now, finished up the scoring. But they still gave away 2 goals, which I just think that bleaky back line is going to be the end of it for Milan. I just don't see them being able to stay consistent and challenge with Inter because of that defense. They have conceded 7 more goals than Inter and 8 more than Napoli. It's not good. It's not good enough. Inter has a significantly better XG than any other team in Italy. They're just all around just better at all of it, I think. And I think that's going to be the main reason why Inter will hold the Scudetto. And I think deservedly so. Right now, if we look at every metric, they're just ahead of everyone. Goals scored, goals against, expected points, all around. Inter's just phenomenal. And they play some pretty good football as well. It's not as exciting, I would say, as Antonio Conte, but they also don't have Hakimi and Lukaku. The fact that you lost 2 of your best players, I would argue, and are still able to have pretty similar output, it's very impressive. Well done to Inzaghi. I think he's done a phenomenal job, and I think this is going to be Inter's year. As much as I wished that Napoli, that we're going to have a 4-way race, I just don't see it, to be completely honest. The Milan clubs are, AC is possibly the closest to them as far as the ability to compete, but I just currently don't see that happening anytime soon. Inter do have a pretty tough run of fixtures coming up at the beginning of next year, where they have Lazio, the Supercoppa final, and then Atlanta. They will be playing Milan and Napoli in the build-up to their Champions League run-in with Liverpool. So that's also going to be interesting, see how they manage it. But so far, credit to them, they've done fantastic. That's going to be it for this episode of Football Around the World. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me, and I will be back with another episode tomorrow. Talk to you guys then.